Hola, welcome back. Jason from YapaTree here. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We normally focus our videos on the Cuenca area of Ecuador, but we just so happened to be in the Galapagos and we ran into our friend and owner of the Golden Prague Pub and Restaurant chain, Martin. They currently have 6 different locations in Ecuador, including this one right here on San Cristobal. I've been a big fan of their beer, food, and just their business in general ever since I first visited Cuenca around 4.5 years ago, and I'm really excited to have a chat with Martin about beer, business, and general life in Ecuador. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. Hi Martin, thank you very much for your time. I know that you're super busy running 6 Golden Prague pub and restaurants around Ecuador, so I do appreciate it. Do you mind just telling the viewers a little bit about yourself and how you got into the world of brewing?
Hi Jason. Hi everyone. My name is Martin Smetáček. I'm from the Czech Republic. I came here first as a tourist in 2005 actually. I was here right at this place in Galapagos in 2005 and I had no idea that I was ever going to be doing some kind of business here. I actually studied diplomacy and international relations and I came to Ecuador for an internship in Cuenca, where you live actually, in 2012. And but I already had the idea to do some kind of business in South America. In the Czech,
Why beer?
it's the answer is easy because in the Czech Republic we are the biggest beer consumers in the world with 143 liters per head per capita, which we consume, and we are the inventors of the beer, of the lager beer, which was invented in Pilsen in 1842. And so I had some kind of knowledge of beer as a consumer, and I found out that in Ecuador the legal structure was very friendly for beer production. So in 2015 we started with a bunch of friends and colleagues thinking about an investment in the beer business, and since actually 2017 we are producing beer in Cuenca.
So this is you and some friends, basically.
Yes.
Is that the idea? How many people, roughly are involved in the business?
At the beginning we were 7 and today we are 9.
Yeah, wow, that's really good. So you've got some additional shareholders?
Yeah, we are all from the Czech Republic, and there is a guy who is my classmate actually, and a friend since childhood, and there are some other business people from our background in the Czech Republic.
Sure.
We have a brewmaster, we have a chef, we have a finance guy, we have a construction guy.
So those guys that you bring over from the Czech Republic, like the brewmaster and the chefs, they're actually part owners of the business, or these are other people that you're bringing
no,
in?
they are part owners,
Yeah, well.
and they live in the Czech Republic. I am the only one who works here.
Yep, right. And is that because you just love Ecuador, or why are you the one that's you're based in Cuenca normally,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
I had the vision that Ecuador and South America was an interesting market to bring some value-added business. It means some kind of production process where you produce something special for the local market. And the beer business has always worked for the Czechs everywhere in the world. Here in South America, you probably heard about Pilsener here in Ecuador, where the first brewmaster was from Pilsen, Czech Republic.
Really?
And that's why it is called Pilsener.
That's awesome.
There is Pilsen in Peru, Pilsen in Bolivia. There is actually the beer Polar in Venezuela. And the lager beer in Polar was founded by a guy whose name was Carlos Roudíček, and he was from my city in the Czech Republic.
Wow.
And so I thought that if those guys were successful, we have to be successful too.
Absolutely, and it's great that you talk about the market here. So obviously compared to the Czech Republic and even my home country, Australia, the the market here in terms of beer and brewing, it is relatively, I guess, immature, you would call it. Like, what is your take at the moment on the market here when it comes to brewing in Ecuador?
Uh, when I came here, 99% of the market was possessed by Budweiser,
Huh.
by the American Budweiser AB InBev, which is the owner of Pilsener and Club Cervecería Nacional. And there was a little market of the home brewers. And there is a difference in Europe, like between home brewers and micro-brewers.
Yeah.
And I found out that, or I noticed that in Ecuador, there was the big industrial brewing and home brewers, and there was no micro-brewing.
Yeah, wow.
So we started, we had the idea to do micro-brewing, which is like an industrial brewing in a smaller scale.
Yep.
And that's what we do. And today I think that we are the biggest actor in the Ecuadorian market with kegs.
How much beer do you produce, like, per year, as an example?
Per year, well, per month we produce more than 30,000 liters, up
Wow.
to 35,000 liters, which is about 400. It's over 400,000 liters per year.
That's
we can
incredible.
produce up to 450,000 liters per year.
Yep, and the brewing process, I know at the moment we're on the Galapagos in San Cristobal, but I understand you don't brew the beer here for the Galapagos. Where is your main brewing station?
We have a factory in Cuenca, and we produce 100% of our beer in Cuenca, and we bring it to Galapagos in kegs, which we believe is the cleanest way of treating the beer, because you just move the kegs and you just sell the water. You don't have any waste.
Right, and so why Cuenca? Is it the water in Cuenca, or some other reason why you've set up the main brewing location in Cuenca?
Well, the water is probably one of the most important reasons. And second, we knew Cuenca very well, and it was very easy for us to start any kind of business. But the water is very important in Cuenca.
Awesome. And so your style of beer, you know, you're obviously bringing it over from the Czech Republic. Is there any challenges in that style of beer being brewed here in Ecuador? Like, I know, for example, you talked about the home brew market. I've spoken to a lot of those guys, and they struggle to get quality hops here locally grown in Ecuador. So what sort of challenges do you face?
Well, first we were at the beginning. The challenge was that we didn't have any market studies, and we actually bet everything on the Czech lager beer, which is the.
So you didn't do any testing beforehand?
No, which is the lager beer is a type of beer which is the most popular all around the world. All the big beer companies produce lager beer as their main beer, and we knew that the Czechs were successful with the lager beer all around the world, and so we decided that we would do the lager beer exactly as we do it in the Czech Republic, and it worked.
Awesome.
And since the first day in Cuenca we were full. And regarding the materials, the hops and malt, first we used to bring malts from the Czech Republic. Then we found out that they produce a good quality of Pilsen malt in Chile. So now we bring it from Chile. Just today, a container of 27 tons of malt from Chile, from Pilsen malt, arrived in Guayaquil, and it is the environment in southern Chile is the same as in the Czech Republic, and the quality is exactly the same.
Yeah, right.
And the hops, especially the Saaz hops, which is very important for the production of lager beer, we always bring from the Czech Republic. We started later on. We started producing some other kinds of beer, like IPA, stout, porter, and we started importing some hops from the United States, from the Yakima Valley, Washington State, and it's also easy. You actually can't get a good quality malt or hops in Ecuador. It's impossible.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. Thanks for that. And let's just change gears a little bit. And you talked about some of your beers and the porter in particular. That's my favorite, is the blackberry porter. And my question to you is, what makes your porters, let's say, better than the average porters out there in the market here in Ecuador?
Actually, I don't think it is better.
No?
I think I think that we have the best lager in South America.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we have the best lager beer in South America.
Yeah.
And we have other types of beer, and which can compete with any, I don't know, any other brewery. But what we do and why we are successful is the style of serving the beer. We do it in the traditional Czech way, with three actually centimeters of foam, and in cold humid glass, which we just get out of the water, you know, the little pool we have for the glasses everywhere in our pubs. And this is the traditional Czech way, which makes it special. That's what I
awesome.
can tell you about it.
Seriously, no, that's great. But your lager is really your flagship beer. That's
We
what
have
you're most proud
four
of.
lager beers. I
Yeah.
think all our beers are excellent, but I'm absolutely sure that we are the best in lager in South America.
Awesome, that's incredible. And so let's talk about your Cuenca location, because that's the one that I know the most, and that's where we met. I actually think we had the best discussion, or we really met. You brought the Czech ambassador over.
Yeah.
I think it was in Peru or something, but it was a night, and you put on a really big feast, and it was a lot of, you know, Czech meats and all the rest of it, and that was just a really fun night for me. But when I came there to Cuenca about 4.5 years ago for the first time, I do distinctly remember walking into your location in El Vergel, really nice central location. And I'm not going to say it's the reason that I moved to Cuenca, it's not, but there was a certain quality about Golden Prague, and it was sort of indicative of the general food scene in Cuenca. And I felt like it was elevating itself, and you guys and the beer hall and the setup that you have, it's certainly a really big part of that. And so I guess my question to you is, how do you rate the overall food and drink scene in Cuenca?
In general,
Yeah.
and actually it has increased a lot in the last 12 years, since I've been living in Cuenca since 2012. It's 11 years. And when I came there, there were, I don't know, 3 restaurants where you could go, maybe 1, I don't remember. And when we started our business, we had no idea about food. And we were thinking, you didn't know us at that time, but we are thinking like, we will produce beer and some sausages and French fries. It's okay, and it will work the same way it works in the Czech Republic. And so we started like this, and the people started yelling at us that we don't have any food, and that we are not a restaurant, that we are a bar, and that they will close us down, and so on. And the sales were high only on Friday and Saturday. And so I realized that without food, the people don't drink in Ecuador. And we started focusing on food. We were trying to get some professional help, and we wanted to develop the Czech cuisine in Ecuador. It didn't work either.
No?
So,
But you still do the Czech cuisine. I know you don't solely do the Czech cuisine, and that's still a big part of it. But why didn't that work, and why does it work now?
because the people here are used to eating the regular food of Ecuador.
Sure.
And even our shareholder, one of the shareholders, is a chef who had 14 restaurants in Prague, and he has even a gold medal from for producing the traditional Czech cuisine.
Yeah, yeah.
But
High quality food, but it just didn't work.
it was
with the local
great,
market.
but it didn't work. So we maintained, I think, about 4 or 5 Czech dishes, and we focused on traditional Ecuadorian land and ocean food, which is typical, not Ecuadorian, like international food. And it works. We introduced the new menu in March, I think, in everywhere. And actually, we started here in Galapagos because the menu of Galapagos, which was very successful with Ecuadorians as well as with tourists, is the menu we later used in all of the pubs.
So this is like your trial kitchen, so to speak here.
Yes.
Awesome, that's really cool. And speaking of the food, I really love the fact that you're sort of bought into the local Almuerzo culture, or the set lunches with your, you call it the golden lunches, right? Between
Yes.
12 and 3. Can you just walk me through that concept and how that evolved?
Look, this is very interesting, and it is a concept that everybody said that it wouldn't be successful, because I wanted to introduce beer in Ecuador as something which is a part of your regular life. And in Cuenca, that's where the golden lunch started. And in Cuenca, we are next to the main court, and there are 800 employees in the provincial court next to us, and we were like thinking that if we introduce the golden lunch with the beer, the people wouldn't accept it, because in Ecuador they weren't used to drinking beer
During the day?
During the day.
Yeah.
And today I am very proud to say that all of the judges are our clients.
Oh, really?
And
Don't say that. Don't say that.
And I don't know, maybe you can cut it off.
But you're very close to that whole legal district, so that makes a lot of sense.
We were fighting with this for a long time, and at the beginning we used to sell the lunch for $3.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
With a beer or?
With the beer.
Wow.
With the beer. And that's how we actually got the market, and that's how we taught them to drink beer during the day. And today it works. It works it actually works everywhere. In the mountains, Cuenca and Quito, it is more successful than in Guayaquil. But the Golden Lunch introduced the beer, or our beer, as a part of your day, and you can go back to work.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's probably one of the most important like successes for me in Ecuador.
I think it's really cool because it's the merging of the local culture, and I would be super surprised if that didn't work, because that concept to me just sounds like Ecuadorians. That's what they do for lunch. You know, it's a set lunch, it's a set thing, and it's cheap, it's cheerful, and it's really tasty. I mean, your guys in particular, your menu rotates though, right? Is it every 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Yeah.
In Quito, every week.
And the idea is you've got a couple different options. Do you mind just running through the different options? There's like a main, and you have a salad one as well.
There are 2 soups, 3 salads, and 3 main dishes. And in Guayaquil and Quito, it's I think 1 soup, 2 salads, and 2 main dishes, but it changes every week.
Awesome.
In Cuenca, it's every 2 weeks.
Yeah, super. And look, I love your food, I love your beer, but if I'm going to be completely honest, the main reason that you probably see us so much in Cuenca is that you guys have really thought things through in terms of attracting a family-friendly audience, and you have a playground, and so That means we can go to the cinema around the corner, watch a movie, come back to you guys, have some beers, have some food, the kids can play and everybody's happy. And so my question to you is, obviously, the families are one of your audiences, but who are your core audiences now? I guess mainly in Cuenca is the one that I'm talking about. Here's a little bit different. This is very touristy and whatnot.
Well, actually, in the Czech Republic, our main or the main audience of beer is everybody, because everybody drinks beer all the time, and I had the idea to do the same thing in Ecuador.
Yeah.
And just like 2 weeks ago, I was there in Cuenca drinking beer, and I was watching the people, and there were kids playing in that place for kids with their families. There were some like very old people, like over 80. There were some judges with lawyers. On the other side, there were some indigenous people. There were some like young guys with girls, and I realized that the concept we wanted to do attracts in Ecuador everyone, and that's probably the only place where you can find out the people of different social classes, which is very marked in South America, sitting next to each other. But regarding the business, like the numbers, our main segment of clients is people between 25 and 45. Especially people with kids.
Yeah,
People
awesome.
who work with kids, that's about 40% of our clients.
But there's really no other options that I've found for quality beer in a family-friendly environment with nice food in Cuenca. So I think you guys are doing a splendid job with that. But shifting gears to this particular place where we are, San Cristobal. Now, is this the only one that has a slightly different name at the moment? It's called the Post Office. Can you just run me through why that change has occurred, or what the thought process is behind that?
Well, actually, here in Galapagos, the people come here, and there's about 30,000 of tourists who come here every month. It's increasing all the time, and the people who come here, they want to see sea lions, Darwin, sharks, turtles. I don't know, maybe Francis Drake or some other people related to the ocean business and everything, traveling, exploring, and so on. And so we decided that we would create a concept which is attractive for tourists here, which is the post office. And it's a place where you can actually send a postcard, and we will deliver it.
Oh, you can do that here, really?
We can do it here. Yeah. I take it to the Czech Republic and I send it from the Czech Republic.
Awesome.
But we collect postcards and we send it to the people. We send them actually because Ecuador lost its post office, like post service a few years ago. But we do the service. It will take about 3 months for the postcard to be delivered, but we do it.
That's cool.
And so that was the idea, because Prague in Galapagos doesn't make a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So it's the Golden Prague beer, but in post office. We really do cool. Everything the same as in Golden Prague, but it's a tourist concept just for Galapagos.
Awesome. And just having the venue here, I know it's notoriously difficult to run a business on the Galapagos for a variety of reasons. Can you just walk me through some of the challenges that you've faced and how you've overcome them?
Yeah, we started here in Galapagos almost 3 years ago during the COVID epidemic, where there were no tourists. There were some restrictions all the time. So, the challenges are very similar to any gastro business everywhere in the world. Here in Galapagos, it's probably it's more difficult because the people have more opportunities for to work. There are more jobs, so you have there is a big boat, and they say I need 20 people. I will pay 2,000 per month, and everybody disappears in 5 minutes. You know? And so that's
So staffing is a core issue that you had to overcome.
the people and the other the logistics, because just a few months ago one of the two ships which brings all the goods to Galapagos was broken, and there was no replacement, so we were short of gas. We had to send the beer by plane, and but you usually can solve everything. Here we were cooking with coal, and it worked.
Yep.
You know, so I wouldn't say that it is different than the continent.
Awesome. And so a big part of our audience is people that are, in another country, North Americans in particular, and they're considering moving to Ecuador. And so I guess my question is, do you have any advice for those people that are considering moving to Ecuador, in particular the guys that are thinking about opening a business like you did so many years ago? Do some market research maybe,
yes.
or no?
Well, I will tell you, because I have many colleagues who have done this and who come from European or American culture. You must not expect that the culture here will be the same as in the United States or as in Europe or Australia, because it is different, and you have to adapt yourself to the culture, and you have to play their rules. And you have to you can't get angry, because at the beginning I was always angry when I had to wait for something or when something didn't work. But it's the way it is. You can make it work as you want, but you have to accept that the people who work with you will not do it the way you want.
Yep, I've learnt that as well. That's a really important point. And the other question I have here really is, in terms of expansion, are you guys looking to expand in the coming years, or what are your thoughts at the moment? You consolidating, or what's the plan?
Our idea is to grow, of course. Right now, our factory is working with basically 99% of its capacity. So if we increase the capacity of the production of our brewery, we will of course look for new markets. I think it's Peru.
Oh wow, that's really cool. Do you have any idea in mind, or it's too early to tell? Like where?
Yeah, we
you
have
set
some
up?
plans in mind, but I will tell
Walking
you later.
through the no issues. Awesome. And so we're almost out of time here, but any last tips that you have for our viewers, or anything you want to share with the viewers?
Well, come to Ecuador because it's a very beautiful country, probably one of the most attractive Latin American or American countries to visit, where you can see many things in a small geographical area, and visit us and enjoy it with our beer.
Awesome, Martin. That's super helpful. Thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it, and looking forward to having a couple more of these with you. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Thank you.
Ciao.